Today's Sunday, and I figured I will make a what I eat in a day. So, since we did all that food prep yesterday, so this is what I'm having. I've got 3 patties set out, and I'm going to wrap them in a paper towel. I think that's what the directions say. Let's see. Place patties on a paper towel, cover with the paper towel, and for microwave, high power, about 1.5 to 2 minutes. So I'm going to cook these. That was for 2. So for 3, I'll do 3 minutes. So like I said, today's Sunday. I don't normally make my breakfast. I usually have boiled eggs and take something with me. So today I'm going to be frying some eggs. I've got these boiled eggs cooking. So I'll be taking those with me to work this upcoming week. So this morning it's going to be some sausage and some eggs. And you might say, oh, those are not pasture, organic, whatever eggs. No, they're not. Because I feel like just getting all that processed junk and out of my diet is good enough for me at this time. So I don't have a terrible immune system disorder other than just being fat. And yeah, so I'm going to have some sausage and eggs. And yeah, over here I've got, when I bought the cow, I got some raw suet, fat suet. That's cow fat. And that's the fat that is around the kidneys. Getting a spatula, sorry. So what I'm going to do is, since this meal doesn't really call for, or doesn't have a lot of fat in it, I'm gonna fry this up and chop it up. I'm gonna have to hang you up with you. I'm gonna cut this piece up and then I'll get my eggs going. I'll show you here in a little bit after I get that cut. Okay, so by using that fat, I browned it and it's got some nice oil in there to cook my eggs in. So I'm going to crack my eggs. I like a hard yolk. I like them kind of like scrambled eggs. Now, and I know I mentioned this in my long video, but if you're like me and you do have lots of excess fat and grease going down your sink, Roto-Rooter told me to pour bleach down my sink originally he did it for tree roots. He said to pour a cup of bleach down my sink every 3 months and then follow it, or maybe it was 3 cups, and then follow it with, he said, a bucket of water. Well, since I use a lot of, I send a lot of grease down my sink. This is my version of scrambling eggs. But since I send a lot of grease down my sink, a lot of times I will also send down a bunch of Dawn. But I've started also sending down bleach more often. So about once a month I dump it down that drain too. Is this real scrambled eggs? Nah. But does it work for me? Heck yeah. Like I said, I don't like my eggs to be runny. It's a weird texture thing. So I just do them that way, and then it's going to have those little fried bits of fat in there, which is, like I said, suet. So if you have spent any time on YouTube, surely you have heard of the Armstrong sisters. I think on YouTube they go by Strong Sisters. Anyway, they talk about, they eat raw beef suet every day. Now, I'm not into the whole raw thing, and more power to those who are. I say rock on with your bad self, but I am not. So when I did get my cow, though, I did ask for the beef suet, and like I said, I have that left over. So I think in order to add more fat to my diet, I'm going to utilize that more than what I have been. So there's my sausages. I have these little picnic things that you can put your paper plate on. And I did not salt that as I cooked it. So I am going to add some salt now. The sausage will have some salt, but gotta have a little salt on my eggs. So I've got my Redmond's Ancient Sea Salt. So I'll put some of that on there. And then of course I have my no salt. So I'll put a little of that on there. And there we go. Plate 1 for the day. In my previous video, you saw me make the ribs and you saw me pull out the bones. So this is the second portion of the ribs that I made. I'm kind of hungry, but I'm not like starving Marvin, but I'm hungry. And so yeah, this is what I'm gonna eat today. It is 1:30. I ate breakfast around 8. I am not opposed to eating 3 meals a day. Most days I eat 3, some days 2. Just kind of depends on how I'm going. So anyway, so yeah, so that's what I'm gonna eat for my second meal of the day. I add a little extra ghee in there, just to give it a little extra goopiness. So yeah, so I'm going to be eating this with a fork, which is good, and I'll show you. My side gig, my hobby, is crocheting things, and this is going to be a unicorn. Well, eating ribs, I had the ribs left over from eating out the other day, but the bone's in. And as you can see, this is white. So, yeah. So by eating these with my fingers or with the fork, I don't get my hands as messy. So, score for me and score for the unicorn I'm working on. All right. Third meal of the day. We have some eye of round. Except this one's still partially frozen. Hold on. Let's get the other one. Yeah, this one. Okay. Eye of round. And it is 0.99 pounds. So not quite a full pound. I'm letting my oven heat up. And I'm going to add some ghee. Let that melt in there. Dogs don't like when I bang things around. Let's see. here. That's from this morning. Move this over here. Now, that's a little better. Trying to get it all off the spoon. Now, so I'm going to open it up, get ready to put it down. Oh, there's probably all kinds of tips and tricks about leaving your food out or your meat out for this amount of time, and doing this, that, and the other. And well, I just want to eat, so I don't have time for all that stuff. So, put one there, put one there, put one there. And I'm going to trash that. Now, while they're sitting there, I'll go on and salt them with my regular salt, and no salt them with my potassium salt. And a little bit of garlic salt. These are not as thick as the steaks I had whenever I had bought that quarter cow. So they don't take near as long. I'm going to do them in about 6 minutes on each side. Timer, 1, 2, 3. Actually, I'm going to do it for 5 minutes on each side. And then we will check the middle temperature. Okay, so it's been 5 minutes on one side. In 41 seconds, it will be 5 minutes on the other side. I've seen something today. I was watching videos, and it looked pretty interesting. What they did was, after the steaks were right about where they wanted them, they did they added butter, which that's what I just put in, and they did a kind of like a basting with butter. So I'm going to try that, as soon as it melts, and in 4 seconds. They probably did it about 30 seconds on each side. So the timer won't be needed for that part because, well, it's not that serious. So yeah, I'm going to flip them over. I'm going to flip the steaks over again so it's on the original side that they were when I put them in. And now I'm going to tip the skillet, and I'm going to baste the 3 pieces of meat. Like I said, for, I don't know, 30 seconds, 45 seconds, whatever the case may be. Just because, butter tastes good, and any of the seasonings that came off down in there, well, then they're going to get basted right back on there. So now I'll flip it over, and I'll do that again on the other side. This meat, it feels kind of on the tougher side, and I can understand because there's no marbling whatsoever. Which I find it funny that for a world that says you should not eat fat, the fattier meats cost more money. I don't know. It just strikes me as funny. But anyway, so what I'm going to do is I am going to put the steaks onto a plate. And then I'm going to pour the butter and ghee on top of them and let them rest for a few minutes. Because the store may not want to give us, they may want to make us pay for fat. But by George, I can get fat from butter and fat from ghee. So, there we go. So I'm going to let these rest for about 5 minutes, and I'll show you when I cut into them. So in the time it was resting, I've already washed out my cast iron skillet, and now it's sitting on a medium. My stovetop's on medium, and now I'm letting it dry. I tend to like my cast iron to dry over heat, and that's gonna dry until I'm done eating. So now let's check on the steak here. So while I'm eating, that stovetop will stay on, and let's see what we get. Well, I could have probably done it for 4 minutes, but you know, I'm just not that stressed about it. But that's what we got. It's more than medium. Maybe. Yeah, it's more than medium. I like medium best, but that's all right. So I'll know, because I've got those others to cook. And tomorrow I will do it on medium. But for the juiciness, I've got the extra butter in there and ghee in there. And yep, tastes good. Even if it is a little extra done, tastes good. So now I'm gonna sit here on my at my table, and I'm gonna eat this and get on with my evening. But that's everything I've eaten today. So you've seen my breakfast, my lunch, and now my supper. And by eating this way, I have lost, it was 26 pounds while I was on keto for those 3 months. And then 24 more pounds while I've been carnivore, November, December, January, for the next 3 months. So I've been carnivore about 3.5 months, and I was keto for about 3 months. So yeah, since August 4th. And today is February, I think it's February 9th. Oh, that one's a little more medium. Looky there. So I think some are thicker than others, but I like to get it all cut up, so then I can just go and eat and dip them in that juice, and that's that. So there you have it. That is my supper. Thanks for tuning in. Have a good day.